Man moves £18 million of produce from farms to food banks to help hungry neighbours. George Ahern has spent his whole life in the farming community of Othello, Washington. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the father of three heard a disturbing rumour circulating in town. Because of problems with the supply chain and ever-dropping crop prices, many local farmers planned to destroy their harvested produce. George was aghast at the sheer wastefulness of the situation. He knew there were plenty of food banks whose shelves were bare for many of the same reasons the farmers faced their dilemma. He began brainstorming ways to bridge the gap between farm and table, starting with contacting local farmers and food banks. Instantly, a few problems arose. For starters, the food banks require all donated items to be washed and bagged, so showing up with a dump truck full of just-picked potatoes was out of the question. Secondly, who has a dump truck at their disposal anyway? George decided that starting a non-profit and involving his community was his best bet. He started East West Food Rescue and put out a call on social media for assistance. Dozens of people offered to help his cause, among them Nancy Balin and Zephyr Pastor, who would eventually become the charity's co-founders. Nancy runs another non-profit called Farmer Frog that cultivates gardens in schools across Washington. Using her connections, Eastwood Food Rescue was able to move more than 60 tons of produce across the state in their first week of operation. The non-profit went on to move 2 more convoys with about 70 tons of donated produce to food banks. But even this incredible amount of food came up short. "That's £140,000, George told CNN. "Surely we've flooded the market and we should be proud of ourselves and that's it." 3 days later, there was not a potato or onion here. "I realised that we need to do this again, and we got to do this for months." East West does their best to compensate farmers for the cost of picking and packaging the food, which is better than receiving no payment at all. As word spreads, more and more community members are pitching in to help George's mission. They've received donations of cash, dump trucks, a brand new Honda, and other key resources necessary to make the vision a reality. When wildfires broke out across much of the Pacific Northwest, Eastwood Food Rescue shifted gears to help bring non-perishable food to them too. To date, Georgia's humble charity has helped move almost £8 million of produce from farms to food banks. Hundreds of food banks and meal programs have benefited from their hard work and dedication. "I've seen minutes of effort move thousands and thousands of pounds of food," George said. "Just figure out what you are passionate about and what you could get involved in." That's great advice from George. There's always something we can do to help. This is a wonderful solution to a heartbreaking challenge. Make sure you share this inspiring story with your friends and family.